Howdy do, buckaroos. How the heck are you? I'm going to take a quick drink here. I have a Tecate. Came in a Beers of Mexico pack. I'm going to explain why I bought it here in just a little bit. First, I want to reminisce just a tad. As a young drinker, and growing up in California, this was one of my favorite, or probably was my favorite Mexican beer at the time. I liked it much more than Corona, which was popular amongst the yuppies, because it had much more flavor. It wasn't as weak. Corona was very weak. This has more flavor than Corona at the time, and they advertise it to put lime and salt in it. I already got the lime in, so I'm going to do it just as I did back as a youngster. Drop a pinch of salt in there. Watch it go all foamy on me. I'm going to take a drink. It's rather warm, so I'm probably going to drink it rather quick. I had it really cold, but it's so hot out here. So here's why I bought the pack. It's $12.97, so it's $13 for the 12-pack. Works out to $6.50 a 6-pack if you're keeping score. But the reason is, excuse me for my itch. The reason was, decided I wanted to make, it's on some chorizo. So my wife wanted some chili, so I thought I'm going to go old school and make a chorizo and potato chili, kind of inspired by the old chorizo and potato burritos I used to eat as a kid. I know this may not be 100% authentic Mexican, but it's let's say it's Hispanic inspired. I am using a good chorizo, a good quality chorizo. I did also add some ground pork to it as well, so I had that extra meat and extra. But it's a 3-bean chorizo and potato chili. I use black beans, Mayacoba beans, and red beans. It's going to be a very filling chili. And see, this is how you can eat when you don't have a lot of money. You can put products like this together. I'm using dried beans. Dried beans are more inexpensive than buying canned beans. They're much better. They taste better. They're better for you. They have better texture. You know, some folks say, well, beans are beans, Tom. It's the same out of a can. No, it's not. They cook the living shit out of those beans you got in the can. They've got no texture left. So when you get them from dried, you know how they're being cooked. They're healthier. They're better for you. And you can get the desired texture that you want, and not those mushy ass canned beans. And I don't care what you say, I can taste the can. So anyway, yeah, I thought, and it's been so hot, I thought, you know, whenever I have food like this, I like to have a Mexican beer with it. Whenever I have any ethnic food, I like to put the corresponding beer with it, whatever it may be. So I thought, well, you know, I just want to get that because it's hot. I think beers like this are refreshing. Whenever I get a beer like this, you know, my craft beer friends jab at me for buying this, and then my macro drinking friends will jab at me for, oh, Tom, you're drinking one of those now. But see, when I do it, I have a reason. You know, there's a purpose. I'm having the spicy food. It's a hot day, and I'm reminiscing a little bit. That's why I bought it, by golly. And I gotta tell you, man, every once in a while, Tecate just tastes damn good. That went down easier than Tijuana Hooker. This is Tom the Beer Whisperer, and we'll talk to you later. Well, howdy do, buckaroos. Here's another one in the Beers of Mexico pack. Dos Equis Azul. Beer brewed with spice and blue agave nectar added. Dos Equis Azul is created by brewing a signature lager with golden wheat and blended with blue agave nectar for a refreshing, authentically smooth finish. 5.7% it says. I didn't look up any information on the internet because, quite frankly, I don't care. I did put lime in here, as you can see. I don't give a rat's. The aromas are interesting. I can smell the lime because I put a lime in it. but it has, tequila-like aromas. Which brings back horrible, horrible memories for me. But that's another story. That's different. I'm not sure if I like that or not. There's something odd in the flavor that's just not driving with me, and that could be the blue agave nectar added. I don't know. There's something that's not working with me. Maybe I'm not a fan of the blue agave. That's the flavor I'm getting, or maybe that's the aromas I'm getting. I'm not quite recognizing. Oh, I think this is a rather new product for Dos Equis, but I think kind of the Mexican beers have suffered just much like our American macros have. I think the recipes have changed slightly over the years to add more inexpensive ingredients. But like I said, this is a rather new product. I think it's going to have a specific audience. Some may enjoy it. It's funny though, as I go into Hispanic areas, or even here in Springfield, and talk to some of the Hispanic population, it's funny that almost everyone I talk to, they don't drink the Mexican beer, they drink Bud Light. What are you going to do? I don't know. So it makes me wonder how much of these products are actually made more for Americans than anybody else, but... Tourist beers. Corona, no doubt, is a tourist beer. I mean, it's weak, it has no flavor, it has no character. Just like the people that drink it. I'm kidding. I don't know people that drink it. I'm just, never mind. Now, I bought this pack because I made some chili, or I am in the process. It's simmering as we speak. I got this nice pot that I like to use, and actually cooked it all in the oven, starting from my dried beans. I did the beans first, then I added the potatoes. I cooked it in layers, like a good stew. I got the beans in there, I got the beans done, and I put the taters in there with some more seasoning, let that simmer for a while. Now I've got the chorizo and the pork in there and the various other seasonings. I use some Mexican oregano and various other things that I like to put in it. Again, I get it's probably not a true Mexican or Hispanic dish, but it is inspired. It's going to be a little spicy. The chorizo that I used has a little bite, so it added a little spice to it. I don't make things spicy at home typically because my wife doesn't like very spicy. You see that? Lime jumped in my mouth. Some boom. That one too. Well, there you go. Hey, I'm Tom the Beer Whisperer. We'll talk to you later. Well, how do you do? I was working my way through my Beers of Mexico pack. 12.97. 4 different beers, 3 of each. See, that's 12. 4 times 3, that's what's a 12 pack. Anyways, I digress. So I'm having the Sol Cerveza. I guess I didn't look up any information. They don't give an ABV on here. Does it really matter? It hovers about 5%. It's got the same color that the rest of them do. I did put a lime in there. When I buy these beers, I'm not expecting it to be as clean and crisp as a craft beer. Although, even as drinking these today, the Tecate, the Azul, and this one now I just took a nice sip of. A nice drink of. I do find them a little cleaner, a little crisper than their macro counterparts. I do. And again, they are good in weather like this. I mean, there is a reason to drink beers like this. As hard as I am on some of my macro drinking, folks, sometimes a lighter, crisper beer kind of hits the spot. I mean, I'm not going to... I don't know. I mean, I would never choose a macro over a craft given a choice, but sometimes a beer like this does hit the spot. And again, today I bought it because I made this massive batch of chili, and I'm going to probably send some to my mother-in-law, probably send some to our daughter, although I don't know if I will send some to our daughter because it might have a little bit too much bite for her. I don't typically make things very spicy because my wife doesn't like things real spicy. But the chorizo had a bite, which is why I also added a pound of ground pork to it with the other seasonings that I add. So it's not crazy spicy. Spicy enough to know you're eating chili. I think I'd have to drink one of these side by side with the Tecate, but my first instinct is that Tecate has much more flavor than this. I'm not getting a whole lot of it from this, to be honest with you. But again, in all honesty and in fairness, these beers aren't about big flavor. They're not supposed to be big flavor. They're supposed to be crisp. Well, it's not crisp. Well, they're supposed to be refreshing is what they're supposed to be. I mean, they are hot weather beers. It's a hot weather climate where it's made. You drink them cold, you drink them fast. And I got to admit, though, that all of them, so far 3, I've got one more to go. I've gone down easier than a Tijuana hooker, I swear to goodness. Yeah, I kind of put a lime in them all, mostly kind of in the spirit of things, and that I had some lime. Because, well, I'm going to make some guacamole to go with my chili. But what it lacks in flavor, I suppose you could say it makes up for in just being very easy to drink. And that's what a beer like this is for. Using my Sam Adams glass. It's time to Beer Whisper, and I'll be back with one more. Howdy do, buckaroo. So my last one out of the pack is the Dos Equis Lager. They have the Dos Equis Lager, the Dos Equis Azul, but not the Amber. But anyways, Dos Equis was created in Mexico in 1897 by a German brewmaster. How about that? Go figure, huh? Who blended his brewing heritage with the spirit of Mexican tradition. Which isn't surprising that, that Amber, which is basically a Vienna lager style. There you go. How about that? Originally called, I can't read that. I got a glare here. Bacaduck. Later became known as just Dos Equis for simply 2 X's in Spanish. Dos Equis Dos Equis Lager Especial is a crisp and golden lager from Mexico with just the right balance of flavor and refreshment. It doesn't give the ABV on the bottle, and I didn't look anything up because, frankly, who gives a rat's ass? I did, in the spirit of everything, put a lime in there. Aromas are what you expect a beer like this to be. Although I'm noticing more rice on the nose on this one than the other 3 that I tried, to be honest with you. That's very apparent. The rice is very noticeable on the Dos Equis, more so than the Sol or the Tecate. So, to be honest with you, after that first sip, of the 3 lagers that I've had, the Tecate, the Soul, and this one, I got to admit that this is my least favorite of the three. However, you know, I mean, these are minute taste preferences. There isn't a lot going on here. It is refreshing. It's a hot weather beer. It is certainly not, you know, I don't find it offensive, to be honest with you. And if I was in a Mexican restaurant and this is all they had available, I'd probably order one to go with my food. A few days ago when my wife and I were out, we stopped at a place. I had a Tecate and then I had a Modelo Especial. Those are, I gotta admit, those are my two favorite Mexican lagers. This I don't find as enjoyable, to be honest with you, as the Tecate or the Soul, to be honest. And for whatever reason, I'm tasting more of those adjunct flavors in this than I did those other two. I don't know why that is. Could be. I don't know. But I am feeling more rice. The rice is extremely apparent on the nose. The rice and corn, the adjuncts, yeah. But then again, you know, it is what it is. You see I'm drinking this rather quickly. I mean, it's like 100 degrees. That's not, it's probably, I think it's in the high 80s, but it's humid for my neck of the woods. If you're from Florida, it's not humid. If you're from California like I am, it's humid as all hell. Yeah, I mean, it's feeling very sticky out here. I mean, my balls are sticking to my thighs. It's that sticky. Not that you want to know that, but there it is. Yeah, there is a different flavor here that I didn't get from the other two. I am feeling, you know, more of that cereal grain than I did from the other two. But there you go. You know, there's nothing wrong with enjoying a beer like this, and I don't bag on folks for enjoying beers like this. My issue with folks is when they try to tell me, well, the quality is just as good as a craft beer, and it's not. That's my issue. If you like it, if you enjoy it, enjoy it. But, you know, I mean, if you like eating sardines on a cracker, enjoy them, but don't try to convince me of sushi. Hey, I'm Thunder Beer Whisperer. That's the last of my Beers of Mexico pack. I hope you enjoyed them as much as I did. We'll talk to you later.